Here's another example that involves coming up with the shortest path from S to T, okay, networks. So this one's a slightly more complicated version of example 1, okay, but we're going to do the same basic thing, right, the same basic algorithm to determine the shortest path from S to T. Again, we're going to consider the vertices that are one edge away from S first, and then we're going to slowly migrate sort of from S to T and consider the vertices further and further along. Okay, so the first two vertices to consider then that are basically closest to S are A and E. Now to get to A, it's going to cost 9 units. So I'm just going to put a 9 there above the A. And we try and think of if there's any other way to get to A that's might be a little bit, more indirect, but it may actually be a shorter path in terms of the weights. To get to E, in fact, the quickest way to get to E is directly to E, not via A or any other vertex. So we're going to put 12 there. Okay. So let's move along now to the next set of vertices. So we're going to consider vertex B, D, and F. Okay. Then finally we'll consider C, vertices C and G. Then obviously T is the end. Okay. So let's have a look at vertex B. So vertex B from A. Well, there's really no other way to get to vertex B. Apart from A, going to A, so 9 plus 5, it's going to give us 14. Okay, so that'll be 14 then. Okay, let's have a look at vertex D. Now, vertex D could be reached either from A or from E. Okay, so from A, 9 plus 15, that's going to give us 24, or D from E, okay, is going to be 22, so 12 plus 10, will give us 22. Okay, we can either get to D from F, but we haven't even considered F yet. So why don't we work this one out now? So and put in the value of the weight of the path from S to D. Okay, so last one to consider now is F. In fact, to get to F, we can go from E to F direct. Okay, which is 12 plus 12, which is 24. Another way to get to F is we could go via D, okay, so sort of indirectly, so E, D, F, again adding 2, you end up with 24 as well. Okay, so there's a little bit of trial and error, a little bit of, you sort of just have to look at it by inspection. There's so many possibilities of paths. If we were to list out every path, you'd be there for a very long time, okay, relatively speaking. Okay, so this is kind of a not pure trial and error, but it's a considered trial and error, is probably the best way to think of it. Okay, so I've got B, D, and F now worked out. So far, B is in the lead. Okay, so to 14, costing 14 units to get there. D and F are certainly more expensive, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're out of the race. Okay, so that's a lower number, that's the winner. Okay, let's have a look at vertices C and G. So to get to C, we can either get to C from B, or we can actually get to C from A as well. So 9 plus 13 is 22. 14 plus 7 is 21. 22 plus 8 is 30, so that's way off. So we can consider BC as probably the best path to take. So 14 plus 7 is 21. Okay, that's to get to vertex C. You're trying to just sort of look around C and think if is there a quicker way to get there, but there's no quicker way to get there. In fact, so what about vertex G? Okay, so vertex G, we can either reach G from C, but C is already at 21 plus 14. We try and aim for the paths that obviously result in the lowest number. We've got D's already at 22. If we add 1 to that, you get 23. 24 plus 9 is 33. Well, that's way off. 22 plus 1, 23. Well, 23 has it. Okay, and that's definitely the better option there. Okay, and either way, if we go from vertex C to G, adding 14, well, that's 35. That's, again, way off. So this edge here is a very large number relative to some of the other edges. So finally, well, there's not much of a, well, it's not going to be very difficult now to determine which is the best path to T. We can either go from G to T, so 23 plus 10 gives you 33, or we can go via C. So C, 21 plus 2 is 23. Okay, so the weight of the shortest path is 23. So if it's a cost, dollar amount, it's definitely the cheapest. If it's a distance, then it's obviously the shortest distance. If it's a time, then it obviously takes the shortest amount of time. Now, the last thing we need to do is to quote the shortest path, as in the vertices that make up the shortest path. So we need to indicate those. And what we do is that we backtrack again. So we did that in example 1. So let's backtrack now. So 23. What we do is we start subtracting the numbers in red, and it should equal the numbers in blue if we've chosen the right path, going backwards. So 23 minus 10, well, most certainly it's not 23. And if you remember what last edge you chose anyway, that will most certainly make it a lot easier. So we've got that edge there. So 23 minus 2 gets us to 21. So the shortest path, so ending with T, we've got a C. Okay, from 21, so we can either go back to B, or back to A, or back to D. So 21 minus 8 is most certainly not 22, so it's certainly not that path there. 21 minus 13 is not 9, so that can't be that one. But 21 minus 7 is 14. Now again, if you remember that was one of the edges that you chose, it does make life a little bit easier. So going backwards, B is the next vertex. So from 14, well, there's no real option apart from going back to A. So 14 minus 5 is 9. So A is certainly along the path, so it's on the path. And 9 minus 9 is 0. Of course, the starting value is always 0, and therefore we now have our shortest path. So shortest path, therefore, okay, is SABCT, and the weight is 23.